This is such a weird thing that has happened multiple times, and I wonder if anyone else has this issue, if you have Verizon. So, we have Verizon Internet. Verizon Internet is probably one of the best because they match your upload speed to your download speed. If you have like something like Comcast, they don't really do that. Like, you can get very, very good download speed, but your upload speed is going to be poor. It's not going to be good. And because I upload hundreds of gigabytes of data a month, I need that fast upload speed. I really do, because I'm making so much videos. They're very high size, large file sizes. So this situation happened last year. And let me tell you the situation and why it's happening now again. Okay? So basically, what happened one time was there was a power outage, or power flickered, so power goes off, turns back on. And then since then, the router was acting kind of funky. For whatever reason, the upload speed slowed down to a crawl. But only on Google services. I don't know how that makes any sense whatsoever, but let me tell you what I mean by that. So if I run a speed test, like on that Oakley website or that fast.com, before and after the power outage, it would be the full speed of about 900 megabits per second upload and download, okay? Very, very fast. After the power outage, it was the same thing for those websites. Google, whenever I try Google, it's always lower, so it's maybe 700 or so, and then upload is usually around 300. So Google's really not the most accurate. However, after the power outage, the upload slowed down to a crawl of 30 megabits per second, which is a fraction of what we're getting. And then the more you tested it, the more you tried to run the speed test, the slower it would go, to the point where it went down to 1 megabit per second. I ran the speed test 5 times in a row, and it's oh my gosh. And what do I mean by Google services? If you're uploading stuff to Google Drive, if you're uploading stuff to YouTube, if you're uploading anything that uses Google infrastructure or Google servers, things that you may not even be aware of that are using Google. Yeah. Even just uploading stuff on different websites, I'll be why is this so slow? Well, it's because it obviously goes through some sort of Google service that is throttling. So I'm that is so weird. That doesn't make any sense. So the first thing that I do, obviously, is I reboot the router. Didn't fix it. I do a factory restore of the router to restore it back to factory settings. That did not fix it. Get on the phone with a technician. They reboot the whole system in the house. They run, some sort of command on their end to, just reset everything. They tell me to press a button on the back of the router and hold that for 10 seconds, which completely clears all of the settings, returns it to factory default. None of that worked. Then he told me to plug in the cable that goes into the router directly into my computer and do a speed test. That cable that runs directly into the router is from outside, so there's no barrier. It's basically just whatever comes in from outside just goes right into your computer. Okay? I do a speed test then, speeds are back to normal. So it's okay, it's got to be the router. Whatever happened to the router, something funky happened, we're going to return it. So we return it, we get a new one, everything is fine. A few months after that, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 months after that, I would say 3. I would say it seemed to be a little longer. All of a sudden, there was no power outage. It happened again. Upload speed is abysmal. Upload speed is very, very slow, only on Google services. Now mind you, this is like a year and a half ago at this point. I want to say it was like springtime of 2023, maybe even a little bit longer. So this is still last year, still having this issue, probably like exactly a year ago. For the second time having the issue. So what do I do then? Well, I don't call Verizon this time. What I do is just do a factory reset of the router. Then I have to go back in, change all the settings that I have done, which is like the Wi-Fi name, the password, turning off like the guest Wi-Fi, and just a few other miscellaneous changes that should not have any sort of impact on the upload speed. Okay? So I do a factory reset, change those settings, and it works. It's like, okay, well, I guess maybe last time it was just a busted router. Many months go by, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. It happens again at the beginning of this year. Nope, no power outage, just randomly, it just like extremely slow upload speed. And I only on Google services. I can tell because it's like I'm trying to upload a YouTube video, and normally it uploads very, very quickly, but then it's like, it's going to take 45 minutes to upload this video? Like a video like this, however long this is going to be, maybe about 10 minutes. It could take a half hour to upload it, when normally it would take 3 minutes. So it's just absolutely crazy. And I'm just like, why is it doing this? So again, I have to do a factory restore, change all my settings again. And then that's when I found the option that I can back up my settings. It's like, okay, I'm going to create a backup of the settings and save it, and hopefully that works next time. So several months later, we're talking about maybe about a month ago at this point. No power outage, all of a sudden things go funky. What happens? Well, I go in there, do a factory restore, and I restore from the backup that I had. That did not work. Tell me how that did not work. It did not work because I saved the settings when it was in a working state. It did not work. So I'm like, what? What's going on here? So then I had to do a factory restore and change them all manually for it to work. And I'm just like, this is so annoying. It's mostly annoying because the amount of restarts that happen. Whenever you change a setting in like a certain tab, the thing has to restart, and it takes like 5 minutes, it seems. It probably doesn't take that long, maybe like 3 minutes for it to finally come back on. So it takes a while, and it's just a waiting game for the most part. So I'm like, okay, now that I've done a factory restore, everything is good, I'm going to create a backup of this. Happens again, that did not fix anything. So anyway, back to just the past week. 2 or 3 times. 2 of them, actually no, 1 of them was caused by a power outage again. All these heavy storms and everything. All of a sudden, power outage comes in. Actually twice, yeah. 2 of them were power outages. The third one was not. Power outage within the past week. 2 power outages within the past week caused the issue with the slow upload speed only on Google services. However, I did a lot of searching to try to figure out what is the problem here. What is causing this? Are there other people having this issue? And I found a few other people talking about like slow upload speeds, but only on Google services? Question mark? Like they're so like, it's like this is such a weird problem. This doesn't make any sort of sense. So I read the post and I hear people talking about IPv6. If you don't know what IPv6 is, like, you know what your IP address is. That is the address to your router. By having that information, people can, you know, maybe look at some internet traffic history to various websites that you've done, all that sort of stuff. And the problem is that version 4 only has a certain number of addresses, and because so many people are getting internet, those addresses are running out. So they introduce IPv6, which is, it's supposed to be faster, more secure, but it's actually the opposite. And so I've always turned that setting off. And most people in the thread recommended turning the setting off in order to increase your upload speed to the correct amount on Google services. And it was already off. So I'm like, I wonder if toggling that option on and off and rebooting in between would actually help the situation. I don't know. So what I tried to do then, I went into the router, turned on IPv6, restarted the router, and I had full upload speed. Very, very nice. Now when the power outage went off again, came back on, IPv6 was still on, slow upload speed. So I'm like, okay, turn off IPv6 and restart. There you go, back to full speed. And then, just as of yesterday, when this thing happened, actually 2 days ago, when this stupid thing happened again, I switch off IPv6. No, it was last night. All of a sudden, there was no power outage. I switch off. Okay, so the slow upload speed and IPv6 was off. I switch it on, reboot, that did not fix the problem. I switch it off, reboot, that did not fix the problem. I switch it back on, reboot, that fixed the problem. Tell me how any of this makes any sense. I don't understand. And it's the stupid router. It's like, Verizon, you have crap garbage routers, and it's not really them producing it, it's whatever company that they're using to make this thing. But why would switching on and off IPv6 cause that, unless it flushes like the DNS server cache or things along those lines? That would be my guess. But I don't see any setting to flush that cache inside of the router itself. I see a release and a renew for IPv6. That does not fix or change anything whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense how turning on and off that setting, what does that do with the DNS servers that are in there, flushing that? I don't know. But whatever the case is, something is funky. Something does not make sense with that router. And why is it doing that? I don't understand if it's a power outage, why it slows down. That doesn't make sense. It's like if I just unplug the router and plug it back in, I'm going to get slow upload speed. That does not make sense. And it makes even less sense that it just happens randomly. Nothing else happens. It just happens. It just happens randomly. So I don't know. It's just weird, and I'm sick of it because it's like the ordeal you have to sit here and wait. You have slow upload speed. You log into your router. You go into your setting. You switch it off. You reboot. You wait. Then when it comes back online, you run a speed test on Google. If it's not fixed, you got to do it again. You got to wait again. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes if you're doing it 2 or 3 times. It's insane. So that was it. Verizon, fix your crap. I don't know what this is. This does not make any sense to me. It does not make any sense to anyone. But obviously this has been a problem for, I think the post that I found was of 2 years ago. Probably a year and a half actually. It was probably at the beginning of last year. And it's not fixed. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. This does not make sense. So that was it. This video is 14 minutes now, not 10. So that's all. Take care. Have a great one. And I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.